Have you ever looked at the clock and thought, where did the time go? You blink, and hours have passed without you even realizing it. You think you have all the time in the world, but what if I told you that you don't? What if I told you that the time you're wasting today will never come back? You'll want to keep reading. This story might just change your life. I didn't understand the value of time until it was too late, and I'm willing to bet, if you're honest with yourself, you might not fully understand it either. Let me take you on a journey that will make you question everything you've ever thought about time and why it's slipping away faster than you think. I bumped into an old friend, Arav, one chilly afternoon at a coffee shop. We were close in college but had lost touch over the years. As we exchanged pleasantries, I noticed something different about him. His eyes carried a weight of wisdom, an intensity I hadn't seen before. It was as though he had unlocked some secret, something that changed him profoundly. What was it? I needed to know. So, Arav, I asked, how's life been treating you? You look different. You seem more settled, more focused. What's your secret? Arav smiled, almost like he knew I would ask. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a quieter tone. It's not a secret, my friend. It's the realization of something that took me years to understand. A part of me was skeptical. What could he possibly know that I didn't? But then, Arav dropped a bombshell that left me speechless. I wasted so much time in my youth, time I'll never get back. And the most painful part? I didn't even realize it until I was already too late. His words hit me like a shockwave. Wasted time? Was he talking about me? Could he be referring to my endless scrolling through social media? My aimless hours spent watching pointless shows, and my constant delays in chasing my own dreams? Was I also wasting my most valuable asset, time, without realizing it? Wait, what do you mean? I asked, leaning in. What happened? Arav took a deep breath, his gaze shifting, as if he was reliving those moments. I spent years chasing the wrong things. I was always waiting for the perfect time to do something. Study more, start a business, travel. I thought I had all the time in the world, but I was wrong. I leaned forward. What was he getting at? I could feel that there was something he wasn't telling me, a mystery that lay beneath his words, something important that I needed to know. The day I realized time was slipping through my fingers, Arav continued, was the day I had to make a choice. I could either keep wasting time or finally understand its value before it was too late. I chose the latter, and that decision changed everything. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Wasting time? I was so used to putting things off, promising myself I'd do them later, but later never came. Why hadn't I thought about this sooner? Arav paused for a moment, letting the weight of his words sink in. You see, he said slowly, I always thought time would wait for me. I thought I could make up for lost time in the future, but the future never came the way I expected. I realized too late that time is the only thing we can't control. I stared at him, shocked by the harsh truth he was speaking. Could it really be that simple? Was it true that all those days I spent procrastinating were truly gone? Could I too be throwing my future away without realizing it? I wanted to ask him more questions, but I had to know. What had made him change? How did you fix it? How did you stop wasting time? I asked, my voice filled with urgency. Arav looked me in the eye, a slight smile on his face. I had to make a decision. I had to commit to the idea that time is not just an abstract concept. It's a resource, just like money. And once it's gone, there's no getting it back. His words made my mind race. How many times had I told myself that I'd start tomorrow? How many hours had I spent distracted by things that didn't matter? How many opportunities had I let slip away? Arav continued. I began by tracking every minute. I knew I had to be intentional with my time or else I would end up like everyone else. Waking up one day with nothing to show for the years I had. Track every minute? Was that really the key? I couldn't help but wonder, could it be that simple? Could I really change my life by being more mindful of how I spent my time? Arav's eyes gleamed with purpose as he shared his story. It wasn't easy. At first, I felt overwhelmed by how much time I had wasted. But as I started valuing my time, I noticed something amazing. I started to get results. Small steps each day led to bigger things. And soon enough, I wasn't just dreaming, I was doing. I felt a fire ignite inside me. Small steps, that was the key. Maybe I wasn't so far behind. Maybe I could still turn things around. But then, a question lingered in my mind. How many people are like me, stuck in the cycle of wasting time, telling themselves that they'll start tomorrow, but never actually acting? Arav's voice broke through my thoughts. The thing is, most people think they'll always have time. They think they can catch up later. But what they don't realize is that the more time you waste, the further behind you fall. It hit me like a punch to the gut. I had been doing exactly that, waiting for the perfect moment that never came, putting off things I knew I should have done yesterday. But what if I was already too late? What if I had missed my chance? I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made, Arav said, as if reading my mind. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It's constantly moving, slipping away, and one day, you'll look back and wonder why you didn't take action sooner. I could feel my heart race. Could this be my wake-up call? Was Arav speaking to me? To everyone who spends their days thinking they have more time than they actually do? I wanted to know more. I had to know. What was the tipping point? What made Arav realize that he needed to stop wasting time and start living intentionally? He leaned in and whispered, "The moment I realized time's true value, I understood that there's no such thing as the perfect time. There's only now." I couldn't believe it. "But how do you stay focused?" I asked. "How do you avoid distractions and stay on track?" Arav smiled, but there was a trace of sadness in his eyes. "It's not easy. The temptation to waste time is always there. But when you truly understand that every minute is precious, you'll find the strength to resist." The moment I understood that time is my most valuable resource, I realized something important. If I didn't use it wisely, I would regret it forever. I sat there in silence, processing everything Arav had said. Time. It was something I had always taken for granted, something I thought would always be there. But the truth was staring me in the face. Every moment I wasted today was a moment I would never get back. "So," I asked quietly, "what do I do now?" Arav looked at me, his eyes filled with a mix of empathy and encouragement. "Start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Track your time, eliminate distractions, and start working on your goals. Time is the one thing you'll never get back. Don't wait until you realize it too late." As I left the coffee shop, I couldn't shake the weight of his words. Time was slipping away, faster than I could have imagined. The clock was ticking, and the future I dreamt of was slipping further from my grasp. But one thing was clear. It was time for me to stop waiting and start acting. What about you? Are you ready to take control of your time, or will you keep waiting for tomorrow? The clock is ticking, and only you can decide how to use it. Now, I have a question for you. What's one thing you've been putting off for tomorrow? And more importantly, will you finally take action today? Let me know in the comments.